thank you for watching. My name is Bukola. I am the CEO of Kibo School, and I'm really excited to have this conversation with our Chief Academic Officer and some of our students. And we'll be talking about optimizing your learning, which is one of the first year courses at Kibo. We wanted to have this moment to talk together because generally at Kibo, we're a really reflective bunch, and we've spent the last few months going through the first cohort of our first year. So all our courses are brand new, and we learn a lot as we go. So this is an opportunity to just share some of our learnings, the things that were surprising, were interesting from this course, and I hope that you enjoy the conversation. So I'm joined by three amazing people, and I want you to meet them now. So I'll ask each of you to tell us a bit about yourself. So please share your name, what you do, where you live, and maybe a quote or a saying that has been inspiring you lately. So Keno, I'll ask you to kick it off.
Sure, thanks, Ope. Hi everyone, my name is Akomeno Omu. I'm the Chief Academic Officer and Dean at Kibo School, and I'm also the designer and instructor for the Optimizing Your Learning course. I currently live in Toronto, Canada, but I'm originally from Nigeria. And a quote that's been inspiring me lately is by the author Matt Haig, and it goes, "Nothing is stronger than a small hope that doesn't give up."
Nothing is stronger than a small hope that doesn't give up. I feel like, Keno, you're always good at giving us the things we have to think deeply about, so I have to think a bit more deeply about the meaning of that quote. Theresa, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hello everyone, I am Theresa Sunday, and apart from being a computer science student at Kibo School, I'm also a chemical engineering student at the University of Lagos. I'm more of a data science enthusiast, and I currently live in Lagos, Nigeria. And a quote I try to live by is, "He who fails to plan, plans to fail." Thank you.
Great. So he who fails to plan, plans to fail. I feel like I've been hearing that quote from my dad my entire life. Samuel, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi everyone, my name is Samuel Kabuya, a computer science student at Kibo School of Technology. I'm also a cybersecurity enthusiast. Currently, I'm working at Kone East Africa as an accounts payable intern, and I am a Kenyan by birth, born and raised in Nairobi, Kenya, and specifically in the slums of Kariobangi. One of the quotes that has been inspiring me lately is that the only person you're destined to become is the person that you decide to be. Thank you.
I love that quote. The only person you're destined to become is the person you decide to be. And I think that quote is a nice segue into talking about optimizing your learning and some of the takeaways from the course. So Keno, I'll start with you. Could you tell us a bit more about the setup of OYL? We're going to call it OYL for short. So yeah, how was the course structured? What did students have to do?
Sure. So OIL was a 5-week online course that was aimed at first-year Kibo students to help them become more effective learners. And so it was a 5-week journey. The first week focused on just teaching them how to learn, like what is actually happening when you learn and how can you do it better. And then in week 2, we moved into talking about how emotions and mindsets impact learning. Then week 3, we talked about things like sleep, stress, time management, exercise, how those also impact learning. And then week 4, we kind of got down to the tactics and tools, the things like, Pomodoro technique and writing notes and active recall, very tactical things to help you learn better. And then week 5 was just about working on your final assessments. That was kind of the journey, the arc to thinking about how to become a better learner. And it was mostly online content, asynchronous content. But then once a week, all the students met with me for a 90-minute live class, just do some active sessions to practice different things and to just practice what they've been learning. And then they had a weekly assignment to then go out and practice that in their own lives.
Nice. Thanks for giving us that background. So Theresa and Samuel, I think optimizing your learning sounds a bit vague. So I'm curious to hear more about what you expected going into the course. So based on the name of the course and other things that you knew, what did you expect that you were going to learn? And Samuel, I'll start with you.
Yeah, so when I first heard about OIL, I had this thinking of optimize, like making something effective or something good. Then also considering that from the application of the Kibo CS program, there was this notion for being a self-directed learner. So I had the idea of this is a course maybe that is structured to help me to become a good student and also to be good at my studies. Yes.
Yeah, that makes sense. So it sounds like you thought it was really primarily going to be about how to become a good student and get more effective. Theresa, what did you think the course would be about?
Okay, that's for the first time when I went through the Kibo School catalog and I saw it was on that general studies. I related it to like the normal GSTs we do in Unilag, and basically I thought it was just for doing sake, but consider me, I was surprised at what the course had to offer. Basically, I thought it was just for doing sake, that we were just going to just do the course and they were just going to give us a bunch of things to read and that's all.
So it sounds like, Theresa, you went in with some expectations of general education, just maybe being something to take up your time, but not something that would be that important. So that's what the students thought it was going to be about. Keno, what did you intend for the course to be? Why does Kibo even offer this course as part of a CS degree?
Yeah, so I think what Samuel said about it helping students become more effective at learning is definitely true. But I think that can end up being like, just here's some tools and tricks to become a better learner. Here's some hacks. I think that wasn't the goal. The goal was, how can I help students transform their mindset and their approach to learning, but also how they saw themselves as learners, right? A computer science degree is really challenging. It's very intensive. At Kibo in particular, it's very, very rigorous. And so sometimes when you're in a program like that, you can get overwhelmed or, it might just be like, I don't know how to continue. And so I wanted a course at the very beginning to help students understand and feel empowered that they could learn things even when it got hard. And kind of part of that is understanding themselves, because your mindset, your approach, how you see yourself, I think is really a key to being able to become a very good learner. And so my approach is really thinking about, how do I make this transformational, not just here's some information that you'll learn and if you apply them, it'll help you learn better.
Yeah, that's really interesting that it turned out to be maybe a little bit less tactical and more, I don't know if philosophical is the right word, you'll tell me. So Theresa, Samuel, you talked about what you expected going in. So I want to talk about what actually happened and the ways that OYL either met your expectations and the things that were different from what you expected. And Theresa, perhaps I'll start with you, because it sounds like you expected it to be, I don't know, kind of a waste of time maybe from some of your other experiences.
Yes, I definitely expected to be planned and all. So I was definitely going there to just read the materials and do whatever tasks they asked me to do. But I was surprised the way the course was delivered, the materials, the assignments, the projects. I was pushed to be on my comfort zone. So I think I really enjoyed doing most of the projects and the assignments, and Keno really explained well and helped me during worst periods in studying at Kibo. Like, it really helped me refocus. Course materials really helped me, and our feedback on my submission on grade school really helped me.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So it sounds like it definitely changed your mind. I'm curious, how long did it take from when you started the course and maybe you expected it to be bland, so you realized, oh, this is not what I thought going into it? Did you get that in the first few days, or did it take a few weeks?
Few days. We had the first day we had in live class. Well, I saw the material, I was like, okay. Then I had the live class and I found it really interactive and really loved me. So I just couldn't help it. I just had to love it and wanted to learn more.
Nice. So yeah, sounds like the materials plus the live class. Samuel, what about you? You said that you were expecting it to maybe give you some tactics to become a more effective learner. So yeah, what met your expectations and what was different from what you expected?
I would say from what I expected, the course actually went above and beyond my expectation, because the course went up to the point of helping me to be able to know about my strength, to know myself as a person, and to understand about my identities. The course also went ahead to even giving me techniques of how I can be a good student, from time management to techniques that I can be using to even take notes, and also all relating to other students. The course also gave me a good understanding of getting to understand why I'm starting something. It gave me a motivation of keeping on pushing something, because we have this quote that we had that everything is hard until it becomes easy at some point. So the course has been great to me, and it has helped me to have that motivation to keep going in my studies over and over, and also get to know how better I can be able to manage my studies, how well I can be able to meet my targets and my deadlines at the same time.
That's great. So I like that it really, again, kind of balancing the tactics and the mindset. Samuel, you said something that was interesting to me, which is it helped you understand yourself and your identity. So I'm wondering if you can share maybe an exercise or an assignment or something that you remember that really made an impact on you. Tell us a little bit more about it and the impact it had.
Yeah. So one of the assignments that we did in the course, the final one, actually the personal learning charter, this was an assignment that was asking me about my identity as a person and how my identities are impacting my studies. So this course helped me to have a inner reflection to know who I am and what my current identities are doing to help me get better in my studies. So this assignment, the final learning charter from the assignment, it basically helped me to come up with strategies and come up with goals that I want to achieve in the next 12 months. It also helped me to come up with implementation intentions, and I personally took the assignment more of an accountability document, not just a normal assignment like you would do just an assignment to get the grades and you're done with it, because I know these are documents that after maybe in the second term, I'll go back to it and look, yeah, in this particular assignment, I wrote these 5 clear goals, and I said this is how I'm going to implement them, and have a reflection. How far have I been able to implement them? How far have I met my goals? So that is one of the assignments that I remember very well, and thanks to OIL for helping me to have that reflection.
That's great. I love it when it feels as if you're not just trying to get the grade, but this is actually going to be useful to you. I'm going to ask a follow-up question before turning to Theresa. So you mentioned that the personal learning charter asked you to think about your current identities and then have that translate to your studies. Could you give us an example of maybe an identity, if you don't mind, an identity that you wrote about and what that meant for your learning charter or your learning goals?
Yeah, so there's this identity of being a firstborn actually. So this is an identity that I wrote in my assignment, and one of the ways that it is impacting me is that I know I am the leader in my family and my siblings are depending on me. So if I make the wrong step at this point, it will also impact my siblings also. And from that, the assignment, it gave me a focus. Okay, I have known that I am a firstborn from my identities. How well can I put that identity into practice so that I can do well in my studies? And the idea was to keep focused so that also even my siblings can follow the same steps.
That's really cool. Thank you for sharing that. I, as a fellow firstborn, I can definitely relate to that. But yeah, this idea of connecting things about yourself to your studies is really powerful. Theresa, I want to hear a bit from you. So maybe you could share, an assignment or an activity that impacted you from OIL.
Okay, this is a really hard question because every assignment stood out to me. So it's just an opportunity on a class app. I should just go on a journey of self-discovery and self-awareness. At the end of this course, I am much more self-aware than I was at the beginning. And well, every assignment was helped me grow in different ways, and I could see the growth. But a particular one I'll pick was the assignment about empowering and limiting beliefs. In that assignment where we created a slide, I really poured out how I felt about not being able to complete the Kibo degree at that point, and pouring it out and writing an empowering belief and writing implementations on how I would achieve this empowering belief really helped me quench that limiting belief at that particular point. And the feedback from Channel that after that assignment really pushed me to want to give my best and all.
That's great. Maybe for people who are watching this and don't know, can you explain what's an empowering belief? What's a limiting belief?
Okay, so let me explain it in the simplest way. A limiting belief is a fear, something you are afraid about, that is it's in the first part of your mind. And an empowering belief is a counter limiting belief, it's what you want to achieve in place of that limiting belief.
Sort of this idea that your limiting belief is a fear and something that's stopping you, and your empowering belief is a counter to that. So thank you for sharing that. So we've heard a lot from the learners in the course. So I want to go back to our instructor, Keno. It sounds really interesting, and there's a lot of different types of materials and activities. Can you tell us what the process of designing OIL was like? So how did you go from the concept you mentioned earlier of wanting to focus on mindset to actually deciding these are the things that are going to be in the course, these are the readings, these are the activities?
Yeah, so I think the key thing for me is when I design a course, I think about it as a transformational process, right? And so to be able to design that, you need to know what is the starting point and what is the ending point. And so that's how I start my design, is thinking about the people who will be taking the course, and what are their concerns, what are the things that could be holding them back, and what is their initial state. And then thinking about what is the state I hope for them in the future, what is that transformation that I want them to go through, and where do I want them to end up, and how can I design a journey that will get them from their initial state to their final state. And so that's kind of the higher level thing, is okay, what is this journey? And it's always a journey. And then I think about what sort of content, what sort of topics would help in that journey, and how do I find materials, activities, discussion questions that will help move somebody through these steps to get to that end point. And so it's always keeping in mind who's going to be taking this course, what do they need, and how can I create an environment and resources and support that will help them go on that journey. And it's their journey, right? So they're the ones learning, they're the ones driving it. I'm just there to support and to motivate and create the environment for that growth. And so that's kind of the very, very high level of course that I take. I think tactically it's creating the online content first, and then the live classes I think is something where I wait to the very last moment to create those, because I want to know the students, more deeply before I create the live classes, so I can create things that are really tailored to their interests, things that they will really catch their attention, really motivate them, that will be meaningful towards them. I think my goal is always, how do I add value? How do I create classes and courses that are meaningful and valuable to whoever's taking them? So I need to get to know you so I can tailor what I'm designing towards achieving that goal.
It's really helpful. And so how do you think about, most course design has to happen before the students get there in order to be ready. So how do you do that work of designing for students before you have them in class? How do you go about understanding who that user is? Or in this case, how did you go about it?
Yeah, I think in this case, I was lucky because I was part of the admissions process. So I got to meet all the students essentially before they joined Kibo. But I think I also draw on my experience as teaching African students in this age range, my own personal experience of being an African student in this age range decades ago or a decade or two ago, and think about who I was then, who I see around me, and what the anxieties and challenges are. That's kind of the persona I have in my mind as I'm designing the course.
Thank you for sharing that. And we've touched on this a bit, Samuel and Theresa, but I want to hear a bit more specifically, what impact has OIL had on the rest of your learning at Kibo? So you're in a computer science program, you're taking this course on mindset and learning. What are you doing differently, or what do you think you will do differently as a Kibo student because of OIL? And Samuel, you can start us off.
The things that I took from OIL and something that I am actually putting into practice is that OIL helped me to come up with techniques to learn and also get to have a clear goal of what I want to do. So one of the things that I took from the course is that I normally have a session to set my goals. Before the beginning of the week, I know exactly that I want to achieve this particular thing and maybe I want my assignment on this particular day of the week. So OIL has helped me in terms of time management and also in planning. One of the things that I've also taken from OIL is actually note-taking. Initially, I was very poor in note-taking, but after taking the course, I can say now I'm starting to implement the create and capture note-taking method. And also, OIL has helped me to be able to master the technique of using the Pomodoro timer. Initially, yes, I was trying, but I was not very good in it. But after taking the course, I got to understand how well can I be using this technique in my other courses also. And it's actually really working well because I know I have to go for 25 minutes, then take a small break, then come again when my brain is at optimum. And also another skill that I learned in OIL was the active recall method. This is simply something that is really guiding me to retain things for the long term, not just the way we usually do things just to cram, maybe for something. Maybe you have an assignment or maybe a problem set that you have to do, so you cram very fast and you're done with it. But now with the technique of active recall, I know that I want to retain this information that I am learning for a long time. So this is something that I'm putting in action in my other courses also, and it's something that I'll actually go with it for it's a lifetime thing that I want to keep.
Yeah, for sure. So goal setting, note taking, Pomodoro, active recall, very, very practical stuff actually, in addition to maybe some of the stuff that Theresa was sharing earlier about your own beliefs. Theresa, what about you? How has OIL impacted your learning? Are there things that you're doing differently as a Kibo student because of OIL?
We did an assignment on habits inventory, and I really put everything into it. Try to understand why I do what I do and understand my habits and how to improve my productivity. In that, I think it was it's a 1-week project, and each day I recorded my progress, and I was able to learn certain new facts about how I learn, how I what things I could do to improve my productivity, and it basically just made me more self-aware about how maybe visual learning is the best thing for me rather than just reading a course material. That's basically helped me, and this has really impacted me in picking the other courses because I know what really works for me that I have to attend in live class to understand reading what the material is all about. So it does really help how I see learning and how I see evaluation.
Thank you for sharing that, Theresa. So it sounds like just thinking through your habits and taking an inventory of everything you do was really helpful for you to understand yourself better. So we talked a lot about the course, and so just one more question maybe for each of you as we wrap up. So Keno, I would love to hear more about the future of OIL. So what do you think you might change in the course as you design it for future Kibo learners?
I think there are some things that I learned from just observing how students experience this course. I think the biggest one being that some of the weeks, I think the initial weeks 1 and weeks 2 were very dense. There's a lot of reading, a lot of different things. I was very excited. It's I want you to learn everything. And I realized that can be very overwhelming for students. And so maybe removing some material, streamlining a little bit. I think that'll probably be the majority of the changes, just so that it can feel more focused and less overwhelming. I think the other thing is also trying to connect it more directly to other courses at Kibo. So now we know what the first term feels like in terms of all the courses, and we know some of the challenges that students face in the other courses. And so I want to really talk about those challenges ahead of time so that it's preparing students for when they hit the challenges in the other courses, they've already had a hint or glimpse of what to do in optimizing your learning so that they have that tool ready to use it and apply it when they get to that roadblock in the other courses. That's going to be the major changes.
That's really helpful. Thank you. So Theresa and Samuel, I'll wrap up with the two of you. So imagine that there is someone watching this who's thinking about applying to Kibo, so a prospective student, and they're not really sure about this optimizing your learning course. Maybe you could explain to him or her what this course is and how that will impact their time at Kibo. And Theresa, I'll have you go first.
First thing, simple thing, is this is a journey to self-discovery. Like, you get to learn a lot about yourself, and you get to be more self-aware. You get to develop new skills you never thought of developing. So basically, just take every lesson as an opportunity to grow. Don't undermine any material, and take the life classes very serious, and basically just enjoy, watch, and learn, and develop yourself.
Thank you for that. That's a great tagline. This is a journey to self-discovery. So we'll have to use that in the marketing for the course. Samuel, what about you? What would you tell a prospective Kibo student about what this course is and how it will impact them?
To anyone, to any student out there who is maybe planning to come and join Kibo, OIL is a course that is basically set up to help you get to know yourself better and get to help you to understand how you can be good in your studies, and also train you to be a self-directed learner. Because in computer science, you have to be very self-directed. You have to have strategies of how to achieve things. So OIL is here to help you from the beginning of the journey to know how will I be setting up my goals, how will I be achieving them, and it will also give you an understanding of your inner self. Know maybe this is my strength, this is how I can use it in my studies, and also maybe I have this particular weakness, how can I be able to tackle it so that it doesn't affect me in my studies. OIL will also give you different techniques that you can apply in your studies. There are quite many, and I'm sure if you come and join us at Kibo, you will enjoy the course because it will give you techniques like the active recall, the Pomodoro, the deliberate practice. You get to have very straight strategies that will play a part in you becoming a successful computer scientist. Thank you.
Thank you, Samuel. It's a great way to think about it. So strategies to become a self-directed learner. We've gone through all the questions I have, and this has been a really interesting conversation. I really appreciate the opportunity to reflect with all of you, and congratulate you too for getting through the first iteration of the course. I know that's not easy as a faculty. It's also not necessarily easy as students. So thank you for joining me. Before we close the call, is there anything else that you want to share or say about the course?
I would like to tell Keno, thank you for the course materials, and thank you for everything.
Thank you. Actually, I want to say, I was going to mention this earlier when talking about limiting beliefs. I really enjoyed reading student submissions. I think the limiting belief assignment as well in particular, everybody was so honest and open. I think it was very moving to see here are the things that are holding me back, and then to see here's my choice to flip it and empower myself. I think that's one of those moments as a teacher when you think, wow, this is the power of education, the power of transformation is students being able to take ownership of their own lives and empower themselves. That's really powerful. So I'm so grateful for all the hard work that you two and all the other students put into this course. It made it really gratifying to design and teach it. So thank you.
Well, thank you to the three of you again for taking the time. Really appreciate it, and it was a great conversation.